Good evening, everyone. I've just watched Trump's Liberation Day announcements, and I thought I'd just quickly put out a quick note on my take on what happened. So, South Africa appears to have been hit with a 30% tariff on all of our exports. President Trump says our tariffs are averaging around 60% against the US. And so he said he's only, in inverted commas, going to impose a duty worth half of that. So we get 30%. Now, there's a factual error here. South Africa's tariffs average 7.5%. So quite a big difference. If we followed President Trump's logic, what we should be facing is something like a 3.75% tariff instead. Of course, facts don't matter that much here. So this is certainly a rather significant issue. Last year, we exported approximately 153 or so billion rands worth of product. Now, around half of that is minerals, and a substantial part of those minerals is platinum. And South Africa really sits with the world's mother lode of platinum. Now, if the 30% applies to the platinum, the president is not clear on the specifics here. That is going to hit the automotive industry in the US quite hard. It's not as if the US can simply replace platinum with the local version because the US doesn't have any, as far as I know. For the rest of it, AGOA, to my mind, has essentially ended tonight. So it doesn't matter that the official review will only close it off at the or potentially finalize its review at the end of September with a 30% tariff. The 3.5% benefit on average that we get out of AGOA has truly become meaningless. So what are the sectors that I think are going to take the most pain? Well, the two automotive companies, BMW and Mercedes-Benz, who export to the US, are going to take a hard hit. The president also announced a 25% tariff on autos. It's not clear if the 30% encapsulates the 25 or if it is on top of. But either way, selling those two cars into the US is going to be a problem. It's not clear to me how that volume simply gets replaced overnight. It's very easy to sign off on a tariff policy, much harder to build a factory. The US is not miraculously going to have the capacity to build all of these cars, so car prices will certainly rise. But these tariffs are not being applied evenly. So we have some countries which have considerably higher tariffs, but others, for example, Brazil, which would also be a competing nation into the US, Brazil would be facing a more modest duty of around 10%, I believe. The automotive is the lion's share of our AGOA benefits, but like I said, I think that's irrelevant. So what does that leave us with? Well, it leaves us with our agricultural products. This is an utterly nonsensical action on agricultural goods. For most of the agricultural goods we send to the US, so think citrus, grapes, that kind of thing, we're counter-seasonal to the US. So when it's summer here, it's winter there and vice versa. So placing a tariff on that makes no sense, simply because the US is not harvesting at the time that we are sending over. For the rest of it, there's not really that much else in our trade with the US. Aluminium, I forgot to mention, aluminium is a big one. Steel and aluminium together last year, we sent just shy of 12 billion. About 8 billion of that is aluminium unwrought coming out of Richards Bay. So I'm going to make the assumption that that is probably South 32. That's a very interesting dynamic. South 32 is getting energy subsidies out of Eskom. If I understand correctly, I think that is still in place. So certainly that is going to hurt that community. Last I checked, I think there are about 2,000 people employed there. So certainly a severe amount of pain due in an area which is certainly not part of the wealthiest part of South Africa. What are the areas in South Africa that I think are going to get hit pretty hard? East London is in trouble, depending on what the plans are with Mercedes-Benz, but certainly that's not good. I think the Western Cape, with a lot of the fruit, is going to feel some pain. It's important to the province. Is the US a big part of our overall GDP? Well, it's the second biggest country we export to after China. So about 9% or thereabouts of our exports. Of course, the other problem is not just that the US has hit us, it's that it's hit lots of other countries. And so all of that product is going to be looking for a home if the product cannot go into the US. So we should expect on a number of these products for prices to drop. Some of that product might find its way into South Africa. And in some cases, that may create a whole different set of economic problems. So I would also guess that even if the products are not products we trade in volume to the US, but a big exporter of a given product gets hit, that product is going to look for a home. And in some cases, that home might now be here. So I would expect to see tariff applications increase, anti-dumping actions, safeguard actions, but mechanisms all around the world as countries try to deal with all of this global surplus that is looking for a place. South Africa has become quite protectionist, so I would expect us to act when this occurs. But of course, so are many of our trading partners. And so again, our very own exports are now going to find themselves competing with surplus globally. President Trump said he was going to implement this at midnight. I've tried to find the official notice, which gives tariff codes and all of the details. I can't find that yet. As soon as I have more information, I will post it. Over the weekend, I'll write something a little bit more considered, but I thought this would be good to get out to all of our clients as soon as possible. Tough times ahead, people. We're going to have to get very clever and think very wisely about what we do next. To all of our clients, if any of you are affected, just pick up the phone. We'll try to see how we can help you. We've got data, we've got expertise. If any group of people has been thinking about this for a long time, it'll be us. We'd love to talk to you. And best of luck, everyone. South Africa's in for a tough run. Let's work together. Cheers.